the Nets about his future are at an impasse. Kyrie's considering his options on the open market. So Fox Bet still has Brooklyn as the favorite to be his team next season. After the Nets, it goes Lakers, Knicks, and Clippers. We got NBA champ Antoine Walker joining us now. Twan, good morning to you. But, Nick, I want to start with you on this one. It feels like this could get messy in Brooklyn. Are the Nets better off just giving Kyrie the max or letting him walk for nothing?
You absolutely cannot let Kyrie Irving walk for nothing in what might be one of the final year or final 2 years of Kevin Durant's apex prime. That is a non-starter. So listen, do I, given everything I've said and my feelings on Kyrie Irving, do I want to give Kyrie Irving a max contract? Of course I don't. But that is a better option than having him walk out the door via free agency and you receive nothing in return. And all of a sudden you're still basically capped out, but it's Kevin Durant, a total unknown in Ben Simmons, and then role players, mostly older role players. That is a terrible option. So I believe if you give him the max, Antoine, and it blows up, you can always trade a player. Russ been traded 4 times. John Wall's been traded. Guys can get traded. Listen, OKC's going to keep running that Ponzi scheme for years, so they'll take anybody if you'll give them future draft picks they won't actually ever have to use. So, you'll be able to find a way out if you need it, but you can't let Kyrie Irving walk across the Brooklyn Bridge to the Knicks for nothing when you have Kevin Durant under contract at the tail end of his prime. So I'd prefer option C, but if it's one of those two, you got to give him what he wants.
Yeah, I would prefer option C too, but I have to disagree with you, Nick. I'll let him walk out the door for nothing. I think you cannot take a chance on giving this guy a max deal. He has to prove to me that he wants to play basketball. And if he doesn't want to play basketball, I don't want to be guaranteed and locked in to a $200 million deal and have to worry about this for the next 3-4 years, and you're not going to be able to move him at all. He has to show me he can play 70, 75 games, too, as well. I want to see him play 70, 75 games on top of that to see if I want to give him a max deal. And on top of that, to add to it, I want to know if his commitment is to win a championship. I got a guy, Kevin Durant, in his prime. We know Kevin wants to win a championship. We know the commitment level that he's made to this team and where his game is at right now. Kyrie has to match that. And I think the only way you let that match that he opts into his deal and shows us he wants to be a part of this organization, that he wants to win, that he's going to try to stay healthy throughout the season. He has too many if factors. And there's too many off-the-court things that can go along that can easily make him go the other way. So I would let him walk for nothing if he doesn't want to opt into his last year of his deal.
Nick, I'm with Twan on this. I'm sorry. Giving him a 5-year max is empowering the bad behavior. It's empowering him to take another week off because there was a national tragedy, or another week off just because. All right, it is empowering the bad behavior. All right, I can't do that. I'm trying to set a culture. And furthermore, we've had him for 3 years. How's it worked out? Kyrie hasn't won anything of significance without LeBron James next to him. All right, so even if I give him the 5 years, the chances are not great because of maybe he'll miss games for whatever reason, or it might be injury. He's injury prone. He's 30 years old. The chances aren't great I'm winning a championship even if I have him. So there's no way I'm locking him up for 5 years. I'd like to keep him on a shorter deal, but not 5. I can't do it. My culture would be shook. All right, but here's the thing, Nick, you don't seem to understand. Where's he walking to? Detroit?
The Knicks.
San Antonio? Portland? Indiana?
The answer is the Knicks.
Orlando? If the Knicks are smart, and that's a big if, because it might be the Knicks might do. Here's the thing: if you're the Knicks, if I'm the Knicks, I would like Kyrie for the same type of deal the Nets would give him, 2-3 years. If they lock him up for 4 years, they're out of their minds.
No.
First of all, he don't want to play for you. He's scoring scorned you already. You're the scorned girlfriend. He's only with you because the real girl he wants don't want him no more. Won't give him what he wants, all right? So, and if he was unreliable and unmotivated with the Nets, who he grew up rooting for, with one of his best friends, who's also one of the greatest players in the world, with a chance to win a championship, how motivated is he going to be to play for a team he don't want to play for with no chance to win a championship? Really? And on top of that, the media scrutiny. He don't like the little bit of attention he gets from the from the Brooklyn Nets media. The Knicks media will be in his face all day, every day. I'm telling you, it's a disaster waiting to happen if you give him the full 4. I give him a couple to get the fans excited, but that's it. So I don't know where he's going. He don't have the leverage you think he does.
Okay, Wilds, hold on. Wait a minute, though. Hold on. I want to make sure we're having the same discussion. Whether or not it would be smart for the Knicks to offer him this is a different topic. And the Knicks, by the way, I read this morning, are preparing 4 years, $100 million, 25 per for Jalen Brunson. So the idea the Knicks are going to just be, a fiscally responsible organization, I don't know if I totally buy that. But the question, the way I have understood this question is, if Kyrie Irving goes to Sean Marks and says, I am leaving, I am walking, if you don't give me the max, I am opting out and signing elsewhere. If you don't give me the max, what do you do if you're Sean Marks? And if I'm Sean Marks in that spot, am I rewarding bad behavior? Yes. Am I incredibly nervous about this? Yes. But is it the only realistic chance I have to take advantage of the next couple years of Durant's prime? Yes. So if those are the two doors, I have to walk through the devil I know. I have to walk through that door.
I vehemently disagree. And if Kyrie comes into Sean Marks' office and says, you know what, if you don't give me the max, I'm going to leave, I put out my hand and say, you know what, we gave it a shot. See you later. Best of luck. That's it. What I agree with Broussard, and I'll throw it back to you, Greg. I don't understand what you think the big leverage is. The idea of availability was one issue.
He's a free agent.
He was there for the entire Celtics series. He scored 39, 10, 16, 20, and they got swept. They're not like this close to winning a championship. Nicky, that was your whole take the whole year. So if Kyrie has to go, okay, looks like we freed up some money. And let's see who else is out there who's a better fit with Durant. It's been 3 years. It hasn't worked. Is he going to you know what, let's run it back. Let's give it 6 years. The old, you know what, let's try it out for 6 years. If it doesn't work, then we can start to stress.
Let me add this
if letting him walk, Antoine, let me just say this real quick. I want to be clear so the audience understands. If letting him walk freed up real cap space, then I'd listen to you. But it doesn't. With Durant on a max, with Ben Simmons' contracts, and with Joe Harris's contract, they're capped out with those 3 guys, plus Seth Curry, but before you fill out the rest of the roster, without Kyrie. So it's not like we're going to let Kyrie walk and then fill in with a max player. That's not a thing. But go ahead, Antoine.
I would just add this, Nick. You got to think about this. Ben Simmons is the X factor for them. Don't get me wrong. It'd be great to get Kyrie Irving back. But if Ben doesn't come back right, which they don't know yet, they don't have a chance anyway. This is not the same Eastern Conference that we've seen in the past. The Eastern Conference is loaded. You have legitimate championship contenders in the Eastern Conference. So you can't just bank on Kyrie just signing back and things are going to be if I'm Brooklyn, I'm more concerned with what is going to happen with Ben Simmons. Is this back legit? That we can get this back to playing? Is he mentally ready to play basketball? I'm not going to spend the summer or spend the whole summer worried about Kyrie Irving, whether him testing the market. So if he wants to walk and not be a part of this and not opt into his deal, we can move on from that. I'm more concerned with Ben Simmons than Kyrie Irving at this point if I'm the Brooklyn Nets. Because if he doesn't come right with Kyrie, they don't have a chance anyway in the Eastern Conference.
I agree with that, Twan. And let's look at the flip side, Nick. What if Ben Simmons is right? What if he comes back and just plays to his typical level, without the mental issues, plays like he did most of his career in Philadelphia? With Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, and Tobias Harris and Seth Curry, the Philadelphia 76ers were a contender. Why can't Kevin Durant, a legitimate Ben Simmons, Seth Curry,